I know it's kind of dark and I hope you can see me, but I wanted to do this quick little intro before we dive into how much I made this week from podcasting. If you're someone that wants to build a podcast, this video will hopefully be helpful for you, maybe some inspiration, and then show you how I track my numbers, so that way I can see how much money I'm making week over week and, set myself up for success. But before we go into that, I just wanted to share a little bit of gratitude, and hopefully this will be a little bit of motivation for you. So a couple videos ago I talked about how I bought this Tesla with my podcast, and that's exactly what I did. So I built up my podcast over years, and once the money got enough to where I could pay for this, I bought it. So basically my payment I'm doing through the podcast. Now the podcast makes more than just for the car, but it was just one of those things where I wanted to get it, and I'd worked really hard on the podcast, and so as a reward, that's what I went for. But I say all that to talk about this minute. So it's late at night. It's 9, almost 10 o'clock at night, and my wife had been running some errands, and she went to Chili's to pick up a dessert. She had done like a consignment sale, sold a bunch of stuff, and it's like a celebration for how hard she worked to set it up. She wanted to get this like volcano ice cream chocolate thing from Chili's. So she picked it up and drove home, and it's about a 15-20 minute drive home from Chili's. And she gets home, she gets the stuff unpacked, and she opens it up and realizes they didn't give her the ice cream or the caramel, just the chocolate cake. And that's like what makes it all together. So I was like, okay, well, I'll run out and get you some ice cream. I know you've been working hard. And I don't usually go out at night, especially by myself. I got the car seats in the back. I don't know if you can see them, but normally my kids are with me or I'm working. I don't really go on a run, and so it's kind of nice. And so I get in the car, I put on this song that I was really getting into at the gym. I played it over and over. Sometimes you get that song in your head, so I put it on, and I got it on repeat as I'm driving, and I'm in this car that I worked really hard for. I'm just kind of reflecting on how it got to this point. I'm closing in on 600 episodes created for my podcast. There's been so many long nights, days, evenings, so much work, so much change in my life as I started it. And, one of the moments it led up to was me just driving this car that I think is really cool. It's something I enjoy, and going on this run to get ice cream. And I was in like such a good feeling. And it's not that the material things are the ultimate goal. I mean, I'm very appreciative of the fact that I do make money from it. It means a lot to me, but that's not the goal. The goal is, my mission on the podcast, and we won't get into that now, but it's such a good feeling. So know that if you put in the work and you're willing to work and create, 600 episodes or more, you can create some of the things in your life that you want. So I just wanted to say that. Let's go ahead and dive over to my computer so we can look at the numbers on what I made this week. All right, well, we are back in my computer, and I'm excited to show you these week's numbers because they are some of the best that I've ever had when it comes to podcasting. So I'm really excited to see it. I'm actually recording this Sunday night, so I kind of wrap everything else up on a Friday morning at 9 a.m. That's when I do my payout, so that's kind of like the end of the week for me. So these numbers are a little bit late. So for example, this might be a little bit higher because more plays would have come. This plays per episode will be higher during the weekend because I release episodes Monday through Friday. So since there's no new episodes on Saturday and Sunday, the current episodes get additional listens. So this is the average episode listen downloads per 30 days. So if I only released a episode once a week, then my plays per episode would probably be higher. It'd be like this 25,000 mark because this is unique listeners. So that means that over the past 7 days, 25,000 people have uniquely listened to this. So it'd probably be even higher. But since I do 5 episodes a week, it drives that number down. Thing to remember, though, when you're trying to get ads or advertisers, this is the number they look at. So by doing more episodes, it can technically hurt because on one hand, you're thinking, well, I'll do more episodes so I can run more ads. So like I do 5 episodes a week. If you could only run one ad per episode, then that would sound like, okay, well, I can do 5 ads because I'm doing 5 different episodes. But if you're only releasing one a week and you could only put one ad, then you would only get one. So you're thinking, oh, that one is less than 5. Even if they were to pay me more for that one, it should balance out in the middle. And yes, that's true. But you see, if you have 5 episodes like I do, it lowers your play per episode. And even though you do get paid per play, you're probably until you get large enough, not going to be able to get an advertiser because this number is so low. And most likely, an advertiser is only going to spend one ad a week with you. Now, they might buy your show for a month or something like that, and that covers everything. But in my experience, it's been one buy per week. So if you have one buy per week and it's this number versus this number, they're probably going to go with someone at this number. So just something to think about that out there. But wrapping up the week, it was a great week. As you can see, the graph is growing. So this is back when I really kicked it off back in August of 2020. I did have some episodes before that, but those were episodes that I did in the past that was on a YouTube channel. I ported over. It was not the podcast as it is today, but that's on there. So you can see I actually started this way back in February. But this week was great. This is the end of the week right here. 71,102 plays for the week. Certainly the best week. You can see these little peaks and valleys on the way up, but we are trending the way that I want to go, which is amazing. I'm really happy about that. But let's go ahead and look at the money. So for proof, let's open up our Stripe payout account. So this is the Stripe payout account. We can click right here and see our payout. So this is September 16th, $875.21. Amazing. You can see that it has pretty much been the highest one. So that's really good. Don't count this one because that was 2 payouts in one, so that does not count. But you can see the single payouts. I had a really good week right there. But that actually, I think, was 2 payouts in one, like a smaller one. But either way, you can see that it is scaling up. So awesome stuff. So we're actually going to swing over to my little chart here. We're going to add that in there. And boom, we've got an update for the week. So we are trending right along. It's some great stuff to see there. And that is the week. All right, so I wanted to go back to video so you could see me for this last little part. And it was a great week, hitting that almost $900, amazing number. It's the highest I've made from just that one single ad on Anchor. It's pretty exciting to see. But I wanted to make this last little part because I was thinking about a comment that someone made on an earlier video. I don't think they meant anything by it. I didn't take anything weird about it, but they asked, why isn't my channel any bigger? And when I got that question initially, I was thinking like, are they asking this because maybe my information is good and they don't believe me and like what I'm talking about? But really my response at the time was that this is a niche, and it is. Podcasting professionally or trying to do professional podcasting is still a niche compared to like how to YouTube. That's a much bigger, YouTube's been around longer, it's more popular. And so that's the answer I put. But I was currently working on a podcast and a YouTube video, actually this video. That's why I'm adding this. So I was looking at the two, and I was looking at the analytics on YouTube, the same way that I say to do on your podcast. And I was looking at it, and in my head, I'm like, I don't really know these analytics that well. It's very different than YouTube. There's a lot more information than I have on podcasting. And, it's different. It's video. It's just a different experience. And so I was thinking that, and then it dawned on me like, okay, well, that's why your channel's not that big, is you're not that good yet. And this is a really good thing because, I've made almost 600 episodes on my podcast. I've never missed a day that I planned on doing a podcast. I've done, 5 a week for a long time. There's been times I did 3 a week early on. And then there was even a point where I was doing 2 every single day, 7 days a week. So a lot of time, over 2 years, every single day, even if I wasn't releasing a episode, I was working on something for the podcast. I've committed to it. And the reason it's good or it's growing, over 70,000 downloads this week isn't the biggest thing in the world, but for me, it's pretty big. And I think most people watching would like to have over 70,000 downloads a week, maybe more, maybe that a day. But the reason that's that big and this big is because I haven't put much time into this. If you look at the amount of videos I have, it's very little. They're sporadic, so it's not like I was working on it every single day. And I haven't built the skill up yet to be a successful YouTuber. Of course, there's people that put out a couple of videos and they make it big, they make it viral, and it's great that they do it. Maybe they have that it factor, maybe there's luck involved, maybe they're great looking, whatever it is. And, that's fine, but that's hard to, one, teach other people to do and replicate. So, I just know that I'm going to do what helped me be successful on my podcast here, and it will grow, and I'll connect with an audience that I want to connect with, that want to hear and see the content that I'm creating. And hopefully it's like a good thing, the Positive Mindset Podcast is my podcast. I want people to have a positive mindset. I want people to live an experience that they enjoy. And that's what this YouTube channel is going to be, sharing kind of the, I guess, business side of what I'm doing. But if you're not successful yet, ask yourself, like, how committed have you been to being successful? And then the second question is, how long are you willing to do that for? I think if you commit to the best of your ability, like truly, are willing for true feedback, honest candor about your product, and then willing to improve, whether that's taking courses, reading books, whatever you do, if you're willing to do that, then that's first check. I think a lot of people are. The second part is the timeline. How long are you willing to do that for? You see, it's fine to commit, okay, I'm gonna do something for 90 days. I think a lot of us try to do that, but then we fall off. Are you willing to commit to it for 2 years without a single result? Are you okay, like with this video that I'm putting together, that only maybe 50 to 100 people might watch it? Is it worth your time? Are you gonna commit to doing this every single day or every other day, whatever the time schedule is, on a long enough timeline? If you are, then like me, you'll be able to build success and you'll be able to build on it. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not luck. It's none of those things. It's hard work and consistency. And that's how you create the version of you that you want to be. So I'm so thankful that that person asked that question, because not only was it a good question to ask initially, and I think my initial answer was accurate, the reflection period after was even more powerful, and that's what I'm most thankful for. So if you like this channel and you want to continue to see more content like this, I want to do the podcast thing, but I kind of like the vlog stuff too, so I'm gonna try to incorporate that in. And then of course there's other business stuff that I'm involved in that maybe we'll touch on as well. But if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.